The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, and welcome to June's Pensionmark webinar, where we'll be discussing practical ways to become more financially fit while taking advantage of our financial wellness program and its many components. This webinar will also feature 3 polling questions and a short video. Please feel free to participate in the questions throughout the webinar. The polls are anonymous. We appreciate all of you taking the time to join us today. We just have a few items to go over before we get started. First, in order to ensure everyone has the ability to hear the information presented by our guest speaker, everyone will be on mute during the webinar. Second, please feel free to write in any questions you have at any time using the Q&A tool on the webinar menu. And at the end, we'll take some time to go through these together. Now I'd like to introduce our guest speaker of Pensionmark, Deanna Bamford. Mrs. Bamford joined the Pensionmark team in 1992 after graduating from the University of California at Santa Barbara with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Communications. Mrs. Bamford is the Relationship Manager for Pensionmark's Northern California clientele and provides bilingual enrollment support to many of Pensionmark's clients. Mrs. Bamford has obtained the Certified Employee Benefit Specialist certification, and she is also fluent in Spanish. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Deanna.
Thank you, Tori, and again, welcome and thank you for your attendance and attention today. I'm excited to be able to deliver this message today about getting financially fit for summer, something we don't typically think of. I think normally we think of, get physically fit for summer and vacations and such, but this topic is even more important and the results can be so impactful. So join me on this quick little workout this morning in figuring out what it's going to take to get financially fit. So whether you're just starting to work on your financial fitness, meaning you're maybe just entering the workforce, starting to think about savings, or you're looking to get in better shape. So perhaps you've been doing this for some time and you're just looking for some tips on how to improve your current situation, we believe it begins with a 3-step process. So today we're going to look first at setting some goals. Second, taking action. Let's get moving and achieve those goals. And finally, third, stay motivated. Because as we know with any fitness program, sometimes it's easy to get started, but it's tough to keep it up. And hopefully, again, we're going to give you some tools and resources to achieve these goals. So first, we need to define some goals. And in doing this, we got to look both at your short-term and long-term needs and determine how you're going to get there. And in addition, you're going to need to reevaluate them and adjust your goals as life events change. So let's take a look at some financial goals, potential financial goals, and how they could change over time. So how they might look today, depending on your age and your stage in life. Your short-term goals may just be to pay off some student loans, perhaps just establish a cash emergency fund. And hopefully you are thinking about some long-term goals as well, like saving for retirement. And remember that any life change, which would include a marriage, perhaps a career, job change, of course a birth of a child, any of those lifetime changes would certainly affect your goals, both short-term and long-term, which would cause you to need to reevaluate it. So next, we've got our first polling question coming up. As Tori had mentioned in the beginning, we've got 3 questions in this presentation this morning. We're hoping that you'll give us some input. Again, it's all anonymous, the answers. So our first question in determining if it's time to re-review your goals is, how long would you say was the last time you reviewed your beneficiaries? So on all your accounts, how long has it been? So select the first one if it's been 0 to 6 months. If you think it's been maybe 6 to 12 months, almost a year, that would be your second option, 1 to 3 years. Or has it been over 3 years since you've actually taken a look at who you've named as your beneficiaries on any of your accounts? So I'll give you a couple minutes here to think about that answer. We love your participation. We'll get to see the results here momentarily. And again, just get you thinking about, is it time to reevaluate and look at your goals? And this is an important one. Okay. Ooh, we've got some good people that seem to be on top of their financial fitness as far as their goals. So 73% of you said that you have reviewed your beneficiaries in the last 6 months, which is excellent. And the 27% of you, again, said within the last year. And we do have some of you, 18%, that says it's been up to 3 years since you reviewed your beneficiaries. So thank you for your participation. Interesting results for the most part. I think you're in good shape, but I want to remind you that especially when it comes to your retirement plan, you should have access to your current named beneficiaries on your vendor website so that you can check those, see who you've named, and in most cases you can change your beneficiaries online as well. In the case that you're not able to, you can do that on a paper form through your human resource department. But an important thing that you want to keep updated in the goals section. Okay, so moving on here to step 2. So we talked about setting goals. Now we're going to put some work in. Now it's time to take action. So your next step to becoming financially fit is to come up with a plan. Let's take some action. So once you've analyzed your short and long-term goals, let's look at some opportunities and ways to get there. Develop a plan, and that's the hard part. This is where the work comes in, and stick to it. And you've heard the term, no pain, no gain. So it applies here as well to financial fitness as well as physical fitness. So just keep in mind that these short-term changes can have long-term effects. So this work that you put in up front can have huge payoffs in the long term. So in order to take action, you're going to need to challenge yourself by doing just a few minor planning things up front, like creating a budget, reducing your debt, and starting a savings program. All these things can allow you to take more control of your finances. So just by, again, taking the time to create this plan, a budget, pay off that debt, and saving, those are the keys in your basically your workout. And we're not going to have you go this alone. This can be daunting and challenging. Oh goodness, this is going to take some time. Yes, it can, but Pensionmark, we're here to help support you in this. And one of our tools that we have is our personal financial portal. And you'll see here on the next slide, I'm going to show you what the home page looks like. And perhaps you've been in on one of our webinars. We've demonstrated what types of things you can do on this portal. And just in a moment here, we're going to show you a quick video. Again, as Tori had mentioned in the beginning, to just remind you of this tool and what it can do for you. Specifically, it can help you create that budget. It can help you see in one place. You can monitor your daily accounts. You can track your spending habits. And actually, it can do that for you based on the accounts that you've linked to it. There's specific workshops that can help you in your savings goals. You can access reports and track rewards, all kinds of really valuable tools. Again, consider this kind of your weight room. We're going to give you the machines and tools to help you create this action plan for you. So I'd like to show you in the next slide, we're going to show you a live one of our YouTube videos that's basically an introduction to our personal financial portal. Take a moment here and listen to what this tool can do for you.
Remember, you were a kid. Things were simple. Life was good. Everything you owned could fit into a box. All your worldly possessions in one safe place. It made you feel secure. Time passed. You collected more things and more boxes. Life became less simple. Here's the question. You know where everything is and what everything is worth. If you don't, you should. If you want to know, you can. Now you can see everything you own all in one place. A private and secure location where your data is consolidated into one clear picture of you. Your personal website makes getting organized simple. It's easy to connect with all your financial accounts. As the markets change throughout the day, your balances recalculate to keep you up to date. To stay on track, you can create a budget and view your spending habits, monitor cash flow, and see your bottom line at any time. Interactive workshops show how your investment and spending decisions today can impact your lifetime cash flow, affect retirement, and influence your estate scenarios. To review the financial impact of your options, you can collaborate with us online in real time. There's a digital wallet, safekeeping, and accessed from anywhere. We provide you with up-to-date data so you can evaluate your options. And with a click, print out reports to see your complete financial picture. We give you the tools to connect with everything you own so you'll know what everything is worth, all in one place. From Wall Street to Main Street, those who know what they have fare better than those who don't. If you want to know, we can show you now.
Okay, I hope you were able to hear that and see it. I apologize. There was a bit of some interruption there in the sound, so I do apologize, but you do have access to that video if you'd like to view it yourself. It is on our website, pensionmark.com, as well as on YouTube, and we'll talk about some of the ways you could connect with us via social media at the end. But again, just wanted to give you a refresher and introduction. Perhaps it was the first time you knowing about this tool. And again, because here we're talking about making a budget, and as we had mentioned, that making a budget is, again, a daunting task, but if you are able to utilize that financial portal, again, because it does link all your accounts in one place, live, real time, it can create that spending, track your spending for you. So whether you do it online with, using our financial portal, or you just take a pen to paper the old school way, which works just as well, let's just keep it simple. The first thing you do is determine your monthly costs. Simply list them out. What are those, monthly expenses that are going to come up? Once you've recorded it and identified it, now you can estimate what you need monthly for your spending. And then the hard part, of course, again, is sticking to it, committing to that challenge. So once you have created this budget, you need to, again, reevaluate it, making sure that you're sticking to it. And little things you do each day really can add up over the long haul. So for example, if you're able to, once you're seeing your budget and you're trying to determine where you're spending your money and tracking it, a little savings, let's say an extra $12 a week, which perhaps is just a couple trips to your coffee shop in the morning, or 1 or 2 lunches out a week, $12 a week could equal over $600 a year of savings. So we're going to talk more about just little tips, ways that you can save on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. One of the first things you need to do, obviously, to help you to be able to get to the goals of saving is going to be to reduce your debt. And that is the first, most obvious one you probably want to tackle is your credit card debts, and especially the ones with the highest interest rate balance. You want to tackle those first. There's a lot of times you're able to consolidate now debt onto one card, and by transferring balances, sometimes they offer you these lower interest rates for a time period, which could really help you pay those off more quickly. We have financial calculators at pensionmark.com that you can utilize, and also on the personal financial portal that could help you figure out how much you need to pay, how long it'll take you to get there according to the interest rates. A couple other tools we just want you to be aware of. You can check your credit score at myfico.com or at quizzle.com at any time. That's easy way to find out where you currently stand. And then also on an annual basis, one time per year, you can request a free credit report at annualcreditreport.com. So just some tools to help you manage and reduce that debt. And then next I want to show you kind of a live sample here of the real cost of debt, because sometimes it's tempting or easy to take the kind of easy path and pay your minimum payments on credit cards. So here in this example, if you had $1,000 in credit card debt on a card that had a 17% interest rate, pretty common, and you were to make only the minimum payment, which in this example would be $20 per month, it would take you 7 years to pay off that $1,000. And you would end up paying over $1,700 total. So you're almost doubling your initial debt with that interest over time. So just so you know too, if you haven't recently checked your credit card statements, look at them. Credit card companies are now required by law to disclose the risks of paying the minimum payment only. It will tell you how long it's going to take you to actually pay it off, what it's going to cost you in the long term by paying minimum payments. So take a look at that and be aware of the risks of again, taking the easy way out. You want to really exercise flex your options and get rid of that debt.
The new disclosure, but there might be some in the
So next,
Rock, she might know.
Yeah, sure. So next we've got talking about once you've reduced your debt, your next option would be to start saving. And the first thing you want to do is kind of save for your short-term, what we call your emergency account. It's really important to protect yourself against those unexpected expenses by creating some cash reserve. So, most financial professionals are saying, experts are agreeing that you're going to need between 3 to 6 months of living expenses, such as your mortgage or rent, utilities, food, insurance, transportation, your gas, your car, and again, any loans that must be paid off on a monthly basis. These are your essential non-discretionary expenses. And so, for example, if your expenses total $2,000 every month, you should save between $6,000 and $12,000 in an accessible savings vehicle, so a short-term savings vehicle. So when these expenses come up, you have the money and you don't fall back into, the debt cycle. So this is an important step in taking action and saving. So next we have our second question that we'd love your participation in. And here we're going to start thinking about and talking about long-term savings. So we'd like to know, if you would please, let us know how much you are currently deferring to your retirement plan. So this is what percentage of your income are you saving right now in your employer-sponsored retirement plan? Is it 0 to 3%? 3 to 5%, 5 to 8%, or 8 or more percent? Please take a minute to give us a quick vote here, and then we'll look at our results so that we can start thinking about and talking about that long-term savings and what it's going to take, how you can get to your goals. Now, here come our polling results. So, okay, again, good group here. We got about 10% saving 3% or less, 30% in that 3 to 5 range, nobody in the 5 to 8, and 60% saving more than 8%. Fantastic, congratulations. You're off to a great start. I like the group. So with that, our next slide, let's talk about this long-term savings and how important it is to save for your retirement. So once you've established that 3 to 6 month emergency account, now you can start saving for the 20 to 30 years you hopefully will be able to enjoy after leaving the workforce. So this is, again, a much long-term perspective. So the sooner you start, the more you're able to save, the more benefits you're going to see. And again, the benefits of participating in your employer-sponsored retirement plan is, well, bottom line, it's going to be the best way to save for long-term. You're going to be able to contribute on a tax-deferred basis, and we'll talk about that some more. It's easy. It comes out of your paycheck, every paycheck automatically, so you don't have to take that extra step and go and save yourself. And then finally, consider saving 10%. Now, 60% of you said you're saving over 8, so some of you may be already there. But this is kind of the new goal. You need to be saving at least 10% of your paycheck throughout your career to have enough income at retirement to be able to replace, 80 to 85% of your pre-retirement income, which will help you just maintain your current lifestyle after retirement. So this estimate, of course, is based on 40 years worth of savings. So if you don't have 40 years worth of savings left, then that 10% potentially could not be enough. So things to keep in mind. Every situation, of course, is different, but that's a nice goal to reach. So next, we're going to take a look at not only the benefits of contributing, but when you start saving for retirement, how important that can be. So we're going to consider the importance of when you start saving. Time is money, you've heard that, so let's get started now. And let's take a look at an example. Let's consider the case of Sarah and John. So we're assuming they're both age 35, both with a starting salary of $35,000, both hoping to retire at age 65. So Sarah starts contributing to her plan right away from day one. At age 35, she contributes 10% of her paycheck. Whereas John, he waits 10 years to begin. Not thinking about retirement, hits age 45, starts saving 10% as well. Remember, they're making the same amount of money, but those 10 years that he waited cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars in future retirement income. So after 30 years of savings, Sarah ends up with almost $500,000, whereas John almost half that at $274,000. And then more importantly, we can't just think of that number, but what does that mean in monthly income at retirement? Sarah's got almost $2,000 of monthly income due to her diligent savings. John's got half that at $1,000 because he waited those 10 years. So that delay can cost you dearly. So again, the moral of the story is, the sooner you start, the better it's going to be in the long term. And then again, one of the other benefits we talked about as far as saving in your employer-sponsored retirement plan is the pre-tax, the benefit of a tax-deferred growth and the ability to reduce your taxable income today. And most of you are aware of this, and that's why you're doing it. But again, we just give you an example of an individual with a paycheck saving 10% in their plan as opposed to no contribution whatsoever, and what that does to their take-home pay and to the taxes that are being paid bi-weekly and annually. You can look at it as well. So again, in this example, you see a participant saving 10% of their pay, which is $135 in this example. So they reduce their taxable income. Take-home pay has not been reduced by $135, so the impact to the take-home pay is $101. So there's this $34 in tax savings. So if you had no contribution whatsoever, that you would be paying that extra $34 in taxes, and you would have zero savings, of course, be coming home with an extra $100 in your paycheck. But that $34 of income tax savings alone would add up to $884 in tax savings for the year. So you could have that $884 going to your retirement plan or going to the government for taxes. So again, just a reminder of that tax savings benefit. And then next, we'll kind of talk about why that 10% again. I mentioned earlier, let's get to that 10%. And so we really hope that you will consider taking that. If you're not able to do it all in one shot, push yourself to take little incremental steps. We call them baby steps. So here in this chart, we're taking a look at just adding an additional 1%, 2%, 3% at a time, and to show you what the reduction in your biweekly take-home pay could be. And again, this is just an example of a salary of $35,000 per year. So if that were your salary and you increase your contribution by just 1%, it would only have a $10 effect on your take-home pay. But look at over time throughout your working career, it could be an additional $50,000 of savings and almost $200 more in monthly income for you at retirement. And then you can see how that, increases drastically, increase 2%, 3% to 5%, get to that 10% little by little, and that commitment that you make today can really help your financial wellness in retirement. Makes a big, big difference. So in thinking about that, and along those same lines here, our final third poll question, again, now we'd like to know from you if you have any other qualified accounts outside your current employer's plan. So this is outside of your current 401k, 403b, wherever you're currently invested with your employer. So simple yes or no question, and we'll take a look at the results. And the reason this is important is when you're making these goals, taking action, setting your budgets and looking at your savings, you need to consider all savings that you have. And if you use a tool like our personal financial portal, you can incorporate these outside assets as well if you have them, and it can certainly help you reach your goals. So in a moment here, we should see our results and see how many of us have outside plans. I had a feeling with this group, we got a great group here today, good savers. So 78% of you do indeed have savings outside of your current employer's retirement plan. So for those 22% of you that do not, that's okay. You're starting off your financial fitness program. You probably will be able to do most of what you need to do right on your vendor website, and between that and our tools on Pensionmark, hopefully we can get you to your goals. So we're ready to talk about our third and final step, and that is to stay motivated. The last step to after you've set your goals, you've taken action, you have a plan in place, now you got to stick with it. And that means keeping tabs on your plan and resetting goals when needed. This is the part where perhaps a financial professional can be your trainer, can be your best friend in this place if you need it. This is where you can create a strategy to stay on top of it. Perhaps summer is a good time for you to review and refresh your financial plan. And of course, please utilize our financial wellness program. And I'm going to be showing you in a moment here some other tools that we have in addition to that personal financial portal that will help you stay motivated. Accountability is something that can truly help you stay on track. So, and just to have somebody that can help keep you accountable for the goals that you've set and sticking to that plan. It can be somebody you trust, such as a spouse, a partner, a friend. Just letting somebody in your life know that you've got some goals, that you're on this track that you want to stick to can be very helpful. And again, perhaps it's your financial professional that you can meet with regularly and will help keep you accountable and on track. I know for me, when I apply it to not financial fitness, but just physical fitness, I've got my workout partner, and truly there are mornings that I would not get out of bed if I didn't know that she was going to be waiting for me and expecting me to be there. So I think it's so important to have somebody that you can count on And if, you know, and again, Pensionmark is here with our tools and resources and our call center to support you in any way that we can. So I encourage you to reach out to us as well. And then finally, reward yourself. If you put in the work, like any workout regime, give yourself a little something for the hard work you put in. One good tip for saving is pay yourself first. So if you have accomplished paying off some debt, that means you might have some new discretionary money available, that couple $100 that you were paying to pay down that credit card. Once it's paid off, you could put those same $200 into your retirement plan for your future. Pay yourself first. Or perhaps let's put it in a savings account so that you can take that summer vacation, those annual vacations that help keep you going and mentally fit. So don't forget to give yourself, you know, some kudos and some credits and reward yourself for a job well done. So finally, I just wanted to show you some other tools that we have available. We're going to call this your Financial Fitness Center. So here we go. Here's your virtual gym for financial fitness. And this is a screenshot on the right here of our Pensionmark website, newly redesigned. Hopefully easy for you to navigate, and some tools that we have online that can help you in this financial fitness goal. We have newsletters. We have just some quick tips, financial wellness quick tips. So when you're short on time and need a quick workout, you can look at those. Webinars. So these webinars, you know, thank you so much again for your time that you were able to attend at 10 a.m. this Tuesday morning. But we do record our webinars, and they're available to you on our website. So if you see some topics in there, or if you've missed some, please go back and you can view the recorded version at your leisure. We've got all those financial calculators online that we had mentioned to help you calculate debt, pay off debt, how a little bit more contribution today is going to affect your take-home pay and what it's going to do for you long-term. We've got some educational videos available to you, short little, like the one we showed you on the Personal Financial Portal. And then finally, social media. In our next slide, I'm going to show you and remind you of ways that you can stay connected with your financial wellness program through social media. So here we've got Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, all ways for you to stay connected. And we post weekly just quick tips and or videos, newsletters, again, just quick little resources when you're on the go for you to stay kind of in the know, help keep you accountable, keep you on track. So I hope you're able to, if any of these help you, utilize those tools. And then finally, we have our call center, which is, again, available to you 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., all time zones. You can call and speak to a live representative at Pensionmark, and we can link up with you if you're utilizing our personal financial portal, or we can link up just with your employer-sponsored plan if you just want to take a look at your current retirement savings plans through your employer. We're here to assist you and to help you reach those goals. So with that, I thank you again for your time and attention, and I'd like to leave some time if there are any questions that I can address today. If there's any questions that we're not able to get to or that you think of later, again, please connect with us, whether it be an email or a telephone call, and we'd be happy to assist you in any way that we can.
Thank you, Deanna. We appreciate you sharing your time and knowledge with all of us here today. And as you mentioned, we'll now go ahead and start addressing some of the questions that have been filtering in. Please remember that if you have any questions, you can submit them using the Q&A tool on the webinar menu. And as Deanna mentioned, you can reach out to your dedicated service team at Pensionmark for any plan-specific questions. At this time, it appears we just have one question. Jan would like to know if these webinars are recorded.
Oh, great question. Yes, they are. And usually within a few days after the webinar, they are available on our website at pensionmark.com. And you can go view prior recordings. In fact, we have a full recording on that Personal Financial Portal live demo, a demonstration of how it works and a lot more information. So absolutely. Thank you for the question. Any other questions, Tori, that have come in? If there aren't anything you can think of now, I hope we gave you a little bit of motivation to get started and take some action, and I hope you have a wonderful summer. Stay cool, and we look forward to connecting with you soon.
Deanna, we actually have just a couple more questions that just came in. The first question is from Mark, and he's asking, I would like to know which investments I should put my funds towards.
Ooh, there's the $100,000 question. Actually, we can absolutely help you with that. The first thing, we're going to want to talk to you individually, because that is such an individual question depending on your current age, your goals, your current savings amount, your tolerance for risk. So the best place to start would be, we have risk tolerance questionnaires online. If you call one of us, we would direct you to completing one of those. Once we can know a little bit more about you, then we can certainly help direct you towards the appropriate funds from your menu that are available to you that would be good for you. The key, though, always is, my answer is, make sure you're well diversified. You don't want to put all your assets into one particular fund unless it's a well diversified fund, because unfortunately none of us have that crystal ball or could predict what the best return is going to be moving forward. But we can certainly help you position yourself so that you're in the best shape possible for no matter what the economy or the market brings us. So great question, and I'm glad you asked it, because that's somewhere that we can help.
Thank you, Deanna. Our next question is, how much should young investors contribute?
Good question. Obviously, the sooner you start, the better. I still think that 10%, I'm sticking to it. I think if you start, or make that your goal early on, then that could be enough. The longer you wait, honestly, I think it's going to take more than 10%, perhaps 15+% to get to your goal. But I would make that your goal. You start and do as much as you can. And fortunately, most of these plans have a feature where you're able to do an automatic increase online. You can set it up to do that for you. So if you feel like, oh, I'm thinking about this now, but I'm going to forget later, go online to your vendor site and see if you can set up an auto increase so that it increases for you that 1% per year or 2% per year until you get to that 10% or your goal.
Thank you, Deanna. It doesn't appear we have any more questions at this time, so now we will conclude the webinar session. Thank you again, attendees, for your participation. I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you next time.